Assalamu alaikum friends, you are watching my YouTube channel Qasim Shehzad. Today lecture is about professional ethics. In this lecture we are discussing branches and classification of ethics, that how ethics can be classified, and we are studying the three major broad areas of ethics, that is meta ethics, normative ethics and applied ethics in detail. So let us discuss. To understand the scope and nature of ethics, we divide it into three broad areas: meta ethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. Now, what is meta ethics? It is purely theoretical and actually pure philosophy, knowledge for knowledge's sake. It is concerned with critical and analytical approach to the meaning of ethical terms like preposition and arguments. Preposition. What is preposition? It is the statement or sentence which can affirm or deny. Meta-ethics subdivided into two types: cognitivism and non-cognitivism. Now, what is cognitivism? According to cognitivism, moral language is meaningful. Good are not meaningless, but are clearly meaningful. Moral facts do exist. Now, cognitivism are divided into two stages: realism and anti-realism. Then they are subdivided into naturalism, non-naturalism, and anti-realism are subdivided into individualism, culturism, and divine commands. So, naturalism. This theory relates that all being and events in the universe are natural. They believe that nothing exists beyond the natural world. For example, the sun rises in the east. Non-naturalism. This theory suggests that realities cannot be explained by natural or scientific principles alone. Moral truth cannot be reduced to natural facts. Now we are moving toward the second broad areas, that is normative ethics. Normative ethics are the basically guidelines we use to live our lives. It is concerned with criteria of what is morally right or wrong, what men ought to do, and what men ought not to do. Normative ethics further divided into three stages: virtue ethics, consequential ethics, and non-consequential ethics. Virtue ethics. Virtue ethics are the quality or states of character that help in deciding an action is either right or wrong. Virtue is a habit of action corresponding to the quality of character. Good action is also a virtue that a person pursues according to their habitation. For Aristotle, good action are not based on rules but on character of the agent. Consequential or teleological ethics are consequential ethics. As the name clearly suggests, believes that the moral worth of an action depends upon the consequences or result of an action. If the action leads to the desired consequences, then it is good, otherwise not. For example, most people would agree that lying is wrong, but if telling a lie would help save a person's life, consequentialism says that it is right thing to do. They are further divided into two types: ethical egoism, that is self-interest theory, and utilitarianism. Now, self-interest theory egoism. It is the position in which moral agents ought to act in their own self-interest, the promotion of one's own good in accordance with morality, or the one ought to promote his own well-being and happiness. For example, it has been argued that extreme ethical egoism is self-defeating. In a limited resources situation, the egoist would consume as much of the resources as they could, making the situation worse for everybody. Now, what is utilitarianism? According to this theory, men ought to do those actions which promote the happiness and general well-being of everybody concerned, including himself also. The moral action that fosters happiness and opposes action that cause unhappy. This is utilitarianism. Now, second or third stage is non-consequential ethics or deontological ethics. This theory suggests that moral worth of an action depends upon the inner nature of that action itself. Results don't make an action good or bad. This is opposite to consequential ethics. For example, lying is bad action because it is bad by its nature, even if it had some good result for the person or a society. Comparison of consequentialism. If you want action B, then do action A. So, consequentialism, they have to look at the consequences. They look at the result of that action first and then do that action. And in non consequentialism, they do not depend on the result, do action A. A action that is good only if it's done for the sake of duty. This is the statement of non consequentialism ethics. Now, third stage of ethics, that is applied ethics. Applied ethics uses the conceptual tools of meta ethics and principles of normative ethics and applies them upon some controversial issues and some narrow areas also. Some narrow areas like business, medical science, etc. Some controversial issues like death penalty, human cloning, nuclear energy, mercy killing, etc. Example: Terashova case, who was in coma for several years. Doctors and children are confused about the feeding pipe, that are we remove it or not, because there were no such diagnosis for their diseases. Terashova case, in which these women are in coma for several years. Neither they die nor they become healthy. So doctor and children are confused about their feeding pipe, that are we remove the feeding pipe or not. If we remove the feeding pipe, so this is death of someone. And if we not remove the feeding pipe, so there is no such diagnosis for this disease, then what to do? So this is major controversial issues in these days. Many people suggest that we have to remove the feeding pipe, and some people says that we have not to remove the feeding pipe. So this is a big issue to handle them. This is all about today's lecture. Thank you very much.